Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a trip, not just down the road, but back in time. Forget everything you know about modern cars, modern roads, and modern life. We're rewinding the clock, dialing it back to a decade of bold lines, unapologetic design, and a feel that's impossible to replicate. We're going to the 1980s. What you're about to see isn't a modern tribute or a retro-inspired creation. This is the real deal, pulled directly from the archives. We've dug through scanned magazines, dusty dealer brochures, old newspapers, and forgotten home movies shot on real 8mm and 16mm film. Every single image, every single frame you'll see is authentic media from the years 1980 to 1989. Nothing newer. We're talking about the Kodachrome and Ektachrome look, that warm, grainy, slightly faded color palette that defined the era. You won't find any slick modern photography here. No glossy auction photos, no over-the-top SEMA builds, no cars and coffee snapshots from last weekend. This is about capturing the genuine spirit of the 80s, the patina, the imperfections, the raw, unfiltered reality of these cars as they were lived with, day in and day out. So sit back, relax, and let's immerse ourselves in the world of yesterday. We're starting our journey with a car that truly defined the spirit of performance for a generation. A name that became synonymous with affordable fun and sharp handling. Let's talk about the rise of the Japanese sports car. In the early 80s, the landscape was changing. The old guard of muscle cars had been tamed by regulations, and a new breed of machine was emerging from the East. They were lighter, more nimble, and packed with technology that felt futuristic at the time. Think about the pop-up headlights, a quintessential 80s feature. They weren't just a design gimmick, they were a statement. They gave cars a sleek, wedge-shaped profile during the day and a wide-eyed, aggressive look at night. Flipping through these old magazines, you see ad after ad celebrating this feature. It was a symbol of modernity. Take this brochure here, for example. The photography isn't staged in a perfect studio, it's on a real road, with a bit of lens flare from the afternoon sun. The car has a slight sheen of dust on it. It looks like it was just driven, and that's the point. These were cars meant to be experienced. The copy talks about things like electronically fuel-injected engines and 5-speed manual transmissions, as if they were revolutionary. And at the time, for many drivers, they were. Home movie footage from this period is truly special. It's shaky, the colors are a bit off, but it's pure gold. You see a family piling into their brand new station wagon for a road trip, the wood paneling gleaming. Or a young guy proudly washing his first sports coupe in the driveway, the T-tops removed and sitting on the lawn. These aren't press photos. This is real life. It's the context that makes these cars so special. They were part of the fabric of everyday existence. Now let's shift gears to the European scene. The 80s were a time of excess, and nothing says that quite like a German performance sedan. These were the Autobahn cruisers, the status symbols. They were built like bank vaults, with a feeling of solidity that was unmatched. The design was often understated but purposeful. Clean, chiseled lines that conveyed power without shouting. Look at these newspaper clippings. You'll find ads placed by local dealerships, announcing the arrival of the latest models. No fancy graphics, just simple text, and maybe a line drawing of the car. It highlights the price, the engine size, and the dealer's address. It feels so direct, so personal compared to today's online configurators. You'd read this in the morning paper, and if you were serious, you'd drive down to the lot that very afternoon. The interior shots from this era are a world of their own. Lots of velour, angular dashboards, and a sea of rectangular buttons. Digital displays were just starting to become common, with their blocky green or orange numbers. An onboard computer that could tell you your average fuel economy? That was high-tech wizardry. And the cassette deck was the heart of the infotainment system. We see flyers advertising premium sound systems with graphic equalizers, promising an in-car concert experience. What's also fascinating is seeing these cars in their natural habitat. parked on city streets next to other vehicles of the same period. You get a sense of scale and proportion that's lost today. These performance cars, which seemed so sleek and powerful, were often quite compact by modern standards. And notice the wheels, nothing larger than 15 or 16 inches. The tires had thick, sensible sidewalls. It was a different approach to performance, one that often valued ride quality and feel over pure outright grip. Let's not forget the American manufacturers. After a tough decade in the 70s, they were fighting their way back. Turbocharging became a buzzword, and the photography from this period captures a specific mood. There's often a bit of haze or fog in the air, or the warm glow of a sunset. It adds a sense of drama and romance. This faded photograph here, showing a muscle car from the era parked near an old industrial building, has so much character. The paint isn't perfect. You can see the wear and tear. It has a story. It's a survivor. This is the beauty of looking at genuine media. You see the cars as they were, not as we've restored them to be. There are no modern buildings in the background, no anachronistic details to pull you out of the moment. It's a pure, unadulterated time capsule. The grainy texture of the film, the slight color shift, it all adds to the authenticity. It makes you feel like you're right there, standing on that curb in 1985, watching these amazing machines roll by. We'll even see some of the more practical cars, the hatchbacks, the sedans, the family wagons. Looking at these scanned magazine road tests, the writers talk about things like cargo space and rear legroom with the same seriousness as they discuss horsepower and handling. These were the workhorses, the vehicles that powered daily life for millions. Seeing them with a bit of rust on the rocker panels or a bumper sticker from a radio station just makes them more real. The home movies, in particular, capture the sounds of the era. The distinct chime when you'd leave the keys in the ignition, the mechanical clunk of the gear shifter, the whir of the electric windows. These are the sensory details that get lost over time, but they're a huge part of the experience of driving and owning these cars. As we go through this collection, pay attention to the details, the pinstripes, the graphics packages, the specific fonts used for the badging. Each manufacturer had its own unique design language. It was a time of greater differentiation. A Ford looked like a Ford, and a Toyota looked like a Toyota. Today, automotive design can feel a bit homogeneous, but back then the character was worn right on the sleeve. We're going to see everything from Italian exotics parked on cobblestone streets in grainy film shots to humble American pickups covered in mud on a farm road, captured in a faded family photo. It's a complete picture of the decade, told through the lens of the cars that defined it. This isn't about judging which car was best or fastest. It's about appreciation. It's about celebrating a time when cars had a tangible mechanical soul. So, let's continue our journey. No more talk, just pure, unadulterated 1980s automotive nostalgia. Let the images and the feeling of the era speak for themselves. This is the way these cars were meant to be remembered, not as polished museum pieces, but as vital, dynamic parts of a world that's now a distant memory. Thanks for joining me on this trip back in time. It's a passion project to bring this kind of authentic content to you, and your support makes it all possible. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the real 1980s, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more journeys into the past. We've got so many more archives to explore. See you in the next one.